Welcome to the Vergecast, the flagship podcast of low-stakes time travel. I'm your friend David Pierce, and I am sitting here doing my New Year's resolutions. I discovered a long time ago that if I do my New Year's resolutions, like on December 29th, or more likely like January 17th, they don't actually get done, or I'm just tired, and so my ambitions are like, go outside once this year. And so my goal now is to find a day, usually in December, where I'm more present, more active, feeling better, feeling more ambitious. And that's when I do some real goal setting. And I try to think of it like goal setting, not resolutions. I've also learned that I should make them very small and very actionable. So like a couple of years ago, my goal was to read one page of a book every single day, just as a way to kickstart some of that energy again. And it was such a small thing that I would feel guilty not doing it. So I actually did it every day that year because it's only one page. But the idea is when you read one page, you read more than one page, and then all of a sudden you're reading a lot more in a way that feels less sort of over your head than the idea of like, I'm going to read 50 books this year. And I read more than 50 books that year. Perfect strategy, absolutely no notes. Anyway, I will share my tech resolutions at some point, by the way. I've done that before and people have said they like it, just having some ideas about how I want to use tech better next year. So I'll share those, but that's for another episode. Still got to figure some of those out. Use my phone less didn't work, so we're going to try some new things. Today, we're doing the second episode in our series previewing 2025. Like we said last week, 2025 is going to be a big year. There's regulation stuff happening. There's a new administration coming in the US. There's questions about the Fediverse. There's questions about AI. Is all of this going to amount to like the next big thing in technology or not? I think 2025 is going to be the year that either things change or they don't. And we're going to find out in some really interesting ways with pretty high stakes. Last week, I had Nilay and Joanna Stern on, and they just ran through some predictions. We had mild, medium, and spicy predictions. We talked about them all. We agreed or disagreed. It was a lot of fun. I think I've figured out the points system. We'll lay that out at some point. We got 12 months to figure it out. We'll come back to it. For this episode, we're going to do something slightly different. So I asked all of you to give me basically things that either will or won't happen in 2025. We will land on Mars. Don't know yet. By the end of 2025, we'll know the answer. Will there be a new CEO of Google? Don't know. We'll know by the end of 2025. So these things that are kind of either going to happen or not going to happen. I made a big list of them, and I'm going to throw them at Nilay and Joanna, and we're going to see what we think about all of them. And again, this goes on the same point scoring system. So if you're right by the end of 2025, you get a point. Wrong, no points. Whoever gets the most points gets a prize. We as a group are going to decide the prize together, so we'll figure that out later on in the year. But the idea is just, if I'm a time traveler from the end of 2025 coming back and I have some things to say to you, some of them are true and some of them are false, what are we going to do? It was very fun. We had a very good time, and I think you will enjoy this. We agreed more than I wanted to, but we'll make it work. Anyway, all of that is coming up in just a second, but first, I'm going to go read one page of a book because I am now like 3 years into this resolution and it continues to work really well, and I'm not losing it today. This is the Vergecast. We'll be right back.
Support for the Vergecast comes from Polestar. Polestar is an electric performance car brand focused on innovation for both cutting-edge technology and design. Nothing exemplifies this better than Polestar 3, their luxury electric SUV. It features an aerodynamic exterior and a Scandinavian minimalist interior. So if you're a driver who doesn't want to choose between having an electric vehicle and the agility of a sports car, then this might be the car for you. Experience it for yourself at your local Polestar space. Book a test drive at polestar.com.
Welcome back. Nilay Patel is here.
Again.
Once
again, David has dragged me into the studio.
If you're all wondering why we're wearing the same clothes and don't look like we've moved, we did. It's been a full week since we recorded this. Don't worry about it. Joanna Stern's also here. Hi, Joanna.
I wear this every day.
Yeah, this is my podcasting
I've
sweater.
moved to just basically wearing, like, I have the same shirt.
You're Steve Jobs now.
I am. I really, I have
like
done
a closet full of Issey Miyake.
Truly, the older I get, the more I understand.
Legitimately,
that
I
approach
have
to
3
life.
of these shirts.
Yeah. And one day you're going to break out the Obama tan suit. Full Fox News cycle.
Okay, so last week we did our predictions for 2025. We all had homework. We all talked it through. We still haven't figured out the points system, but I have a whole year to figure out the points system. I'm probably going to win, but we'll see. What we're going to do today is I have written down a long list of things that either will or will not happen in 2025. And the way we're going to set this up is I am a time traveler from the end of 2025, and I'm coming back, and I'm telling you a bunch of things that happened, and you have to decide which ones are true and which ones are lies. Does that make sense?
All lies.
Fabulous.
Why are all these games so complicated?
It's not complicated. I'm gonna say a thing that happened at the end of by the end of 2025, and you have to decide did it or did it not happen. Good?
You should have done a costume change.
I should have, honestly.
Because then you could have been like, I am dressed, I am David from the end of 2025.
Ooh. Like
Yes.
jeans get even bigger in 2025.
Right.
So I'm gonna come back.
You have a mustache.
Mhm.
Anyway.
A beret.
This is what AI is for.
Berets are huge
Yeah.
in 2025.
When this actually publishes, we'll replace David with AI mustache. 70s David will be here in
Adobe.
full flares.
The only facial hair I can grow is like a pretty like evil goatee. So we could do that. Evil David could be
I don't
at the end of
think you have a
2025.
choice but to grow an evil goatee now, my friend.
Okay. I've ordered these loosely into categories, but the categories don't really matter. So we're just going to blow through as many of these as we can until we have to get out of here. And again, the thing we all have to decide individually is this true by the end of 2025 or is it not? Thing number one, not only is Tim Cook still the CEO of Apple, all 4 big tech CEOs are still the same.
Oh, absolutely true. Unless Google breaks itself up.
Okay. But that would Sundar Pichai still be the CEO of Google in that instance?
That's the one where I have a question mark.
I think right now, the only thing that the big tech companies can do is put familiar faces in front of Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And anything that disturbs that is a huge risk. Donald Trump saying Sundar Pichai called me to say I was the most important thing on Google is the thing that protects Google from regulatory risk. You change out that face, that name, that relationship. Suddenly Donald's like, I don't like this new guy. And all goes to hell.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. True.
But you don't think it's possible that one of these CEOs will just decide it's not worth it anymore? That like faced with the prospect of what's coming in so many different directions, they're not just gonna be like,
I think they
I'm out.
want to, but their boards, to what Nilay's saying, they can't.
These guys are all sharks. They think they can win.
That's fair.
This is no longer a game about strategy.
You don't think
it's a game
Tim-
about personality and deal making and
Yeah, I think Tim Cook's getting ready. He's like excited about it. I think Tim Cook's excited to retire.
Oh yeah, he's been laying the groundwork to
Yeah.
retire for a long
Right.
time.
He's excited.
This is why
He's,
John
like,
Turnus's
annoyed.
name keeps getting floated.
Right.
But he cannot.
He's
Apple is a
sad.
small country.
No, I said Tim Cook is sad. I don't know this. I think Tim Cook is sad.
I would say we published this story about Donald Trump saying Tim Cook had called him about European regulations, and the number of comments and responses we got that was like, he would never. This is just salacious slander. I'm like, no, he definitely did.
Yeah.
Like this man opened a fake factory for Donald Trump.
He is good at this game.
But if you don't know that, he reopened the Mac Pro factory where they were already making the Mac Pro, and Trump got to go there and pretend they'd open a factory.
As long as you cut a ribbon, it's new. You know what I mean? It counts. All right, so we're all saying yes.
By the way, corollary, do we think Donald Trump knows who Andy Jassy is?
No.
The CEO of Amazon.
Yeah.
I think he knows who Jeff Bezos is.
Yeah. Right. No.
And I think the fact
This is
I think Andy Jassy's favorite thing in the whole world is probably that everybody knows who Jeff Bezos is. That like if people are very mad at Jeff Bezos about things that Jeff Bezos is no longer in control of. And I think if you're Andy Jassy, that's a pretty nice place to be.
Yeah. I'm just saying we are entering a period where people's personal relationships with the president will determine how American tech regulation goes, and none of these guys can move. Introducing a new face is like
and also
disaster.
Mark Zuckerberg is unkillable, so he doesn't.
Oh, he's by far the most stable.
No, he's in.
Right. Founder, CEO, he's staying forever.
Okay. All right. Moving on. We're all saying yes. End of 2025, NVIDIA is the most valuable company in the world.
No.
Okay.
What is more valuable?
Right now, it's Apple and Microsoft every day. Go back and forth, right?
Yeah. But NVIDIA's right there.
Yeah. I just think that my prediction on the last episode was the AI bubble is going to pop.
Right.
And so if that necessarily means demand for chips will drop.
Okay. I'm saying yes.
You say yes.
Because NVIDIA seems to be so far ahead of this game right now. And even if what you're saying is true, there's going to be some lag to that. Like, I think if the AI bubble does burst, I don't think it's going to happen in 2025. And I think we're going to get one more year of wild frothiness, and then something is going to happen, and it's all going to fall apart.
People are going to keep buying these Blackwell chips. It's going to just keep happening.
Yeah.
Maybe
But all of that forward investment has to turn into revenue.
not for NVIDIA.
Yeah, and NVIDIA's good.
They're selling them.
Yeah.
Right. But then at some point when the companies stop booking,
Sure.
At
But
some
maybe
point.
it doesn't happen in 2026.
let me tell you again, at some point when the companies don't have business models to run on their NVIDIA chips, NVIDIA will stop selling as many chips.
But that
I
might
think
not
that's
happen
coming
until the end.
faster.
You think
than
it's
we
going to happen in 2025?
Yeah,
But all
right
these
now there are
companies
companies.
promising their AI agents, and they're all
We've-
on in. They're all in next year.
Right. And then they have to ship them.
Sure, and then
I mean, there are companies right now, like cloud computing companies, that are taking out loans to buy NVIDIA chips, and the collateral they're putting up for their loans is the NVIDIA chips. That's bananas.
That is the bubbliest bubble you could possibly describe.
we might have time.
Oh, serious? Okay. But I think if
Like
the
it's
straight
going to keep
prediction
going up.
is the stock, right? That's how
Right,
we're
it's
measuring
going to
this
happen at
market
the
cap.
end. Yes,
I'm out.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Are you in?
I'll be in.
I'm in too. End of 2025, somebody has acquired Snap.
That's good.
Who?
Somebody. I can't tell you. I forgot. I have a lot to remember coming back from December 2025.
Is it Apple? No, it's not Apple.
I don't think it would be Apple.
Apple doesn't want it, but I think it's
Maybe it's Walmart again.
Walmart.
Walmart buys TikTok and Snap.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Just because it's a public company.
It's just hard to do.
It's got to fail on its own. Activist investor shows up and tries to push out Evan Spiegel. Sure.
Okay.
But a straightforward GE is here to buy Snapchat. I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. I think I lean the same way just because I don't know where it goes.
I don't know where it goes.
Yeah. Because I think Snap's problem continues to be that it is a phenomenally successful product that is essentially impossible to turn into a business. And I don't think anybody else has ways to solve that.
And I don't know who would want it.
Like maybe it's one of the big like maybe Amazon buys it just because it's like, we're better at selling ads. We can do that. But I don't totally see it. So, all right, I'm out on that one. We're all out on that one.
Yep.
Okay. Number 4, OpenAI is officially a for-profit company and it's making money.
Those should be two separate things.
Making money or making a profit?
Well, yeah.
All right, you're right. Let's split them. OpenAI is officially a for-profit company.
I would say yes. Making a profit, I would say no.
This one's hard for Nilay.
I think that's a harder, longer fight than anybody thinks. But can they pull it off in a year?
A year is both a long time and not a long time. I mean, in like this lawsuit with Elon Musk is going to keep getting messier. He's going to paperwork everybody into oblivion, it appears, for however long it takes. I think OpenAI gets it done just because there is so much money at stake that they're just going to have to figure out how to do it. And again, if you believe that the AI bubble is going to burst, it is in everyone's best interest to get that done as quickly as humanly possible, because then a bunch of people are going to get liquid and take that money out. And that's how they win. I think everyone has an incentive.
All right, so
to do this
I'm with
really
you
fast.
that they will get it done. I'm out that they will turn $1 a profit.
Okay, all right. So we're all in on OpenAI is officially a for-profit company. OpenAI is a profitable company.
No way.
No.
Yeah, easy no. It's like, okay. I think I would honestly have a harder time with the like OpenAI is on an obvious path to being a profitable company than this one, right? Like,
Right.
Is this company going to be around for a while? Probably. Are they ever going to make a dime? I have absolutely no idea. All right. Last one.
What? Oh, sorry.
All right. Last one for this section. Then we're going to take a quick break. The government is breaking up one of the big tech companies. A lot of possible candidates on this one. Google seems like probably the most likely in our current timeline.
Okay. Let's talk about the verb there. Breaking up, has broken up.
I would say I would allow anything from has broken up to has officially decided and won required court cases in order to break up. It has to be done and official that it is happening, but it doesn't have to have happened yet.
Oh, I think Google, then yes, Google is in for it.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think it looks like?
The one with Chrome and search, it's kind of on the exact same timeline as the Microsoft case, where like the Clinton administration won that suit and then the Bush administration like settled that suit. So like you can see how maybe you're just going to get a bunch of weird compliance stuff happening. The other one though, the ad tech one, like someone in the Trump administration has to understand what's going on in order to stop it.
True. But that one would also be the cleanest. If you wanted like the answer to what to do about that one is just split the two things apart. Right. That's the whole argument is these two things should not be together. We are going to take them apart and then everything will be better. And so if you're the government and you win that case, we don't have to do all this other like what are the right remedy. You just split the two things apart.
And the reason I say someone in the Trump administration has to understand what's going on is who knows. But the people around the Trump administration hate Google. I guess J.D. Vance is in the Trump administration, but like he's the vice president. Like, what's he going to do? It's like the
He's
nature
gonna be busy like getting kids to be more active.
Right. The nature of the vice president is not like you get to break up Google.
Right.
But Mark Andreessen hates Google. Peter Thiel hates Google. There's a lot of antipathy towards Google.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance, by the way, also hates Google. He has been on stage at events being like Google's a problem. So that one seems assured to me. Whether or not the search case is the mechanism, that's like too fancy.
Yeah.
Like the Trump administration made Google sell Chrome with all whatever DOJ shakeup is happening. Maybe that's too much. Trump administration forces Google to divest ad tech. Who cares? Like,
right.
Try to get that story across the Fox News channel. Like, we'll see.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And I also think, like, as we've talked about on the show, the Google search stuff seems more likely to end with a bunch of, like, behavioral remedies, right? Like, Google's going to have to do the weird data sharing stuff. It's going to have to stop making the default deals. That's not the same thing as
breaking it off.
I don't even think they end up selling Chrome, like, would be my prediction.
That's what I was wondering. Like, do some of these concessions happen? And would that happen?
Oh, and all of those concessions are like First Amendment nightmares. I just want to be very clear about this.
Oh, for sure.
Right. Google is not allowed to have Google search be the default in Chrome, but like rightwingsearch.com has to be the default search in Chrome is a real outcome here. COVIDiscool.com is the new default homepage of every Chrome browser is like a real outcome we could get to.
But does that could that happen sooner than they break off the ad tech business?
Well, that case is already decided.
But
right. So Google is like ruled a monopolist. They're guilty of it. We're on to the what are we going to do about it phase.
Right.
The Trump administration is going to, that'll all go back and forth. But somewhere in here, the Trump administration now has the ability to settle that case. Right. And like, who knows what will happen. And whether or not those settlements are a bunch of weird First Amendment ideas that Trump already has about Google. Right. I get such bad results in Google is a thing Trump says out loud. That's all messy.
Yeah.
And the ad tech one is like not messy.
This all comes back to me about time. Like how much can they really do in a year?
That is fair. I think that's
what I guess
most compelling reason to bet against would be that this stuff all just takes a long time to get done.
Right. Sundar Pichai calls Donald Trump and says, hey, I will make you the number one result for every query in Google search if you settle this case with us is a thing that could happen.
Yep. But you're still saying yes.
Yeah, something will happen with Google.
But something will happen and they break off their business, or something will happen and there will be clear concessions made. I guess
clear
those are the
concessions.
Same things.
Clear concessions.
Okay.
I'm in too.
Sure.
What do you think? Yeah, we're all in.
I don't know. My whole thing is this time. Like, a year is long.
I mean,
but it's also not.
Betting on the legal system taking a really long time is a pretty safe bet most of the time. So I think it's not crazy. But now you have to decide. You in or you out?
I'm out then. I'll just put it to the other side.
All right.
But by the way, I have no idea what's going to happen with the Apple cases.
Yeah.
Right. They might not even arrive.
Right.
Yeah. And there's Amazon stuff floating around and there's Microsoft stuff floating. Like, I think all that stuff definitely takes too long.
Amazon stuff was whatever.
Yeah. All right. One more for this section, and then we're going to take a break. We have had a huge society-shaking AI scandal that made everybody think differently about AI. End of 2025. Oh,
yeah. I think they're already happening. I just think we don't know how to talk about them. I think that the sort of like deep fake bullying in schools will reach a crisis point like so much faster than we think. And none of the big platforms have any real plans to stop it. Like it's already here.
But do you think, I would argue that would have to get bigger than some of this stuff? Like that would have to be an order of magnitude bigger than like the stuff that has been happening on Instagram already and like cyberbullying stuff and the mental health crisis on Instagram. That stuff it never hit the level of like the most important thing to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to happen in some sort of like institutional way to make people care. Because like, I'm not sure people keep caring about these one-off issues about kids. But if there's some big hospital or some big company that has some AI flaw and they're put it all on, they lose a lot of money or at worst they lose some lives and they put it on AI, then that's probably a likely thing.
America is very much in the let's touch the stove moment.
Yep.
Right.
Like, let's just see, is it hot?
Right.
Let's touch it as hard as we can. And I think that's where we are with AI. And I just think that we're also in a moment where a bunch of parents are really rethinking the value of the phones for their kids.
Yes.
Just across the board. And one or two more of these stories where a bunch of kids circulate non-consensual deepfake nudes of each other. You can just, like, it's like, we're also in a political environment where we have a bunch of politicians who are like, I'm going to do stuff. And this is, you can just point a lot of that energy at this because no one can argue about it.
Yep. Yeah. I think I'm a yes on this one. I have no idea what it'll look like, but I think the idea that, like, I just think about like Cambridge Analytica, which was one of those things that
I think that's what we're definitely going to get one of those at some point.
For whatever Cambridge Analytica was and wasn't, it was like it was a thing everyone knew about and could reference and talked about. And I think we haven't had any of those with AI specifically yet, and I think we're going to get one.
And that's why I think it's going to be like something institutional. Like it's going to touch.
A hospital's a really interesting one, honestly.
Yeah,
like you could see a bunch of ways that could get.
I think it's going to touch some part of life. And I hear what Nilay is saying about the kids, but I just don't think there's enough outrage. Like there's outrage about it, but like, yeah, everyone agrees, like, kids have too much tech.
The kids don't have the juice.
Yeah. Like there's already everyone, like every side agrees.
Yeah. And yet, here we are.
Yeah.
All right. I buy it. So we're all in on this one. All right, let's take a break. Then we're going to come back. We're going to do a bunch more.
Support for the Vergecast comes from Polestar. Polestar is looking to usher in a new generation of electric SUVs, one that relies on technology so integrated you forget it's even there. And they're starting with Polestar 3, their luxury electric SUV. Polestar 3 features an aerodynamic exterior and a Scandinavian minimalist interior. It has the ability to go from 0 to 60 in as little as 4.8 seconds and get an EPA estimated range of up to 315 miles per charge. Polestar 3 even lets you optimize the powertrain between performance or range mode, depending on your drive's needs. You can also say goodbye to that cluttered dashboard because this car shows you everything you want to know and nothing you don't. You can even have Google turn on your favorite podcast, we're hoping it's this one, and be immersed in 3D surround sound by Bowers & Wilkins. Polestar 3 has a lot to offer, so if you're a driver who doesn't want to choose between spacious comfort and the agile handling of a sports car, then this might be the car for you. You can test it out for yourself at your local Polestar space. Book a test drive for Polestar 3 at polestar.com.
All right, we're back. I have a bunch of streaming ones that we're going to do. Streaming, entertainment, etc. I'm going to get you out of here on time, I promise. I see you looking at your watch. One or more of Max, Paramount Plus, and Peacock no longer exists.
I feel like I have to disclose already because Peacock is owned by Comcast. Comcast is an investor in Vox Media.
Mm-hmm.
I made a Netflix show.
Do you really have to disclose these things?
We do it every time.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
And when we don't do it, the people yell at us.
Okay.
Disclosure is our brand, Joanna.
Okay.
Yeah. One time in a review of Starlink,
Joanna won an Emmy. Can we disclose that?
We should.
Disclosed.
It's done.
Disclosure happened. Done.
One time I reviewed Starlink and I said, this is kind of spotty if you shine it through trees, and most people have trees in their backyard. And then I was like,
what's it?
My wired internet connection is superior to this. And I was accused of being a Comcast shill because I said wired connections are better than wireless ones. And I was like, if that's where we're at.
Was Peacock an option there?
Peacock, Paramount Plus, Max. one or more of those three services in particular
Paramount Plus is gone.
does not exist
Yeah.
at the end of 2025.
Although I will say they're like
need
all in on
something.
letting Taylor Sheridan do whatever he wants, which is like a reasonable strategy, actually. Like I watched Landman,
It does kind of work. Yeah.
the Billy Bob Thornton one. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, you should just let Taylor Sheridan do whatever he wants. It's pretty good. He's kind of like redneck Aaron Sorkin. Like it's just like a lot of nothing happens in these shows, and then there's an explosion.
Yeah. But
like,
the dialogue is crisp.
Right. You know
Throughout.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everyone's walking and talking, and then like, man, that's been about an hour. Something should blow up. Every one of these
Yeah.
episodes.
He's
Yeah.
Aaron Sorkin, not coastal elite. I love it.
It's good.
Okay.
But they're done. That deal will go away. That's not going to drive enough subs for them.
I really love Max. That's my contribution here.
Oh, I should have picked Max.
To die?
To die.
Yeah.
I think
I love
one
Max.
of
I'm
Max
betting
and
on
Paramount
Max.
Plus is going to be gone. I don't know
Max
which one
forever.
it is. There's going to be some.
Max has to be doing pretty good.
Because they're being run so well by Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yeah, that's going great.
They have decent programming on there.
What do you watch on Max?
I just watched all of Industry.
Sure. Okay.
Industry's
People
solid.
like that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gen Z Succession. They call it.
One show.
Hacks. Hacks is good.
Hacks. I think we watch Paw Patrol through Max.
Mm.
Maybe not.
It sucks that my kid is named Max.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Joanna just calls Max and says, "Describe Paw Patrol to me."
We also watched Jurassic Park on there.
Did your kids have a crush on Chase?
The dog.
Max had a baby crush.
the dog?
Like Chase was her favorite dog on Paw Patrol, and I was like, "Why'd you pick the cop?
Uh,
Like, why not? There's a water dog.
Alex does like. No, I think he really likes Rubble.
Yeah, Rubble's great.
Rubble's great.
He fixes
But
stuff.
do we watch it through Max?
Cop dog.
See, I would argue this might not be the great case for Max that you think it is.
But
Do I watch that on Max?
I'll be honest. Like we had Peacock for the Olympics, don't have it anymore.
Mhm.
Paramount don't have it anymore.
Oh, this is my other prediction. They will all solve this problem by not letting you churn as hard as you can churn right now.
That I believe. That I will
that's a
put
good
a
one.
lot on.
That's a
Yeah.
really good one.
But yet there
Um,
was just that like there's what's the legislation that just happened that makes it you
Yeah,
have to
click
make
to
it
cancel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are they going to get around
That's
that?
going away in the Trump administration.
Womp womp.
A federal agency doing stuff. Yeah, that's all over now.
Yeah.
Especially
All right.
because Lena Khan did it.
All right, we're all saying yes to that one, right?
But
we're all
Yeah.
we're all
One
in
of
on
the
that
three. You don't have to pick one.
One or more of the three is
Okay,
gone.
Yeah.
Again, my time travel is you lose some stuff. It's hard to remember everything in the time travel. Netflix is killing it in live TV and is already the biggest thing in live.
No.
No.
Disclosure. You already know it is.
We did that already.
Disclosure.
Yeah.
How long ago did that show? Like, how long do you have any years you have to say that?
Forever.
Since it's on there, it's going to be
Yeah.
on there forever.
Video on demand. That's-
Yeah, I didn't even get
that's what
paid for it.
happens.
This is like the funniest part of this. There's like not even a conflict of interest. I just did the thing.
Do I have to have a disclosure that I talked to you when you were working
If
on
you
that
want
show?
to.
Yeah.
If everyone would like to remind everyone else that I made a Netflix show, that's great
Yeah.
for me personally.
Disclosure, I spoke to Nilay when he was working on his Netflix show, and I also talked to him when he had Comcast.
Well, you're clearly in somebody's pocket.
Yeah.
I don't know
By
who it
had
is.
Comcast, you mean the service in Chicago?
You still have Comcast?
No, there's no Comcast out here.
What do you have? Xfinity? Isn't
We have
Xfinity
Fios.
content?
Do I have to say
Comcast?
disclosure? I have Fios and it rules.
I
Wired
disclosure-
internet is better than wireless internet, my
Disclosure,
friends.
I also have Fios.
Well,
I have Ting. Let's go.
we're conflicted out.
Ting, baby. All right, next one. We're all saying no on that one. Yeah, we're
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
They have a long way to go.
Jake Paul needs to fight somebody else, and then it'll
They have a big test. This Christmas.
Yeah.
I reserve the right to revise this after the NFL on Christmas on Netflix. But I don't think they're ready.
Netflix certainly has the money to do it, but it's harder work than anybody thinks. Grand Theft Auto launched. Grand Theft Auto 6, rather. Grand Theft Auto 6 launched, and it is the single most successful game in history and has basically changed the video game industry all by itself.
That's too many ideas. So I say yes to launch.
Grand Theft Auto 6 is the prince that was promised.
Yeah, it's too many ideas.
It launches.
It launches. It makes a bunch of money. Agreed.
Okay.
Everyone else has already tried to do the big game as a service thing. What was the Sony one that just failed?
Conquered.
Yeah, everyone just wanted to do Fortnite and it didn't work. You need to have the big property that can support it. Grand Theft Auto is one of those properties. changes the game. I think everyone's going to be like, man, I wish we'd invented Grand Theft Auto, and they will continue not investing money into these things that fail.
But you think Grand Theft Auto on its own, big hit, it's going to work?
Yeah. I mean, assuming it's not a disaster, but I think a lot of people are going to.
No, this is the prediction we have to make here. The reason I put this in is that we have had a long run of huge, expensive games that haven't worked for one reason or another. And if that happens to GTA 6, it's going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
Like this is the most hyped game in forever. And it has been around for forever. It has like loomed over the gaming industry for years. And if it doesn't hit and it's not as good and big and exciting and cool and groundbreaking, like GTA 5 is still a wildly successful game. If GTA 6 flops.
Chris Grant, who's our publisher and the founder of Polygon, is always showing me this chart. It's like the highest grossing games in the world, and they're all over like 7 years old.
Yeah.
They're all very old because they've all just turned into these places where people hang out. So GTA 6 has a long road ahead.
It does.
Like Cyberpunk 2077 came out and it like didn't work. And then now it works and like everyone loves it.
But a lot of heads rolled in the meantime.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in on this one. Sounds like you are too.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Joanna's just a big question mark. Okay. A few more. It's the end of 2025 and folding phones are completely mainstream now.
Unless Apple's
No.
releasing one and they're not. So no.
You don't think they are?
One of the
In
other ones I was
2025?
going to put is
Huh?
In 2025? I don't think so.
I think it's actually very funny that Apple thought it could drive a super cycle with AI. And really
Yeah.
it just needs to make the phone fold over and that will be the thing.
Yeah,
that
well,
does it.
100% drive a super cycle.
what if I changed it to Apple released a foldable iPhone or iPad?
Next
Apple
year.
released a foldable something in 2025.
The displays aren't good
They
enough. They're not
release a
gonna do it.
foldable MacBook, which is just a MacBook. It's a laptop.
But it's a MacBook you can
It just folds.
scrunch up
Nope,
into your pocket.
It's just like that, but it has a better chip. They're foldable for the year.
All right, so you're out on foldable
I mean-
phones going mainstream,
I think they will go mainstream once Apple has one.
but you don't think it's next year?
No.
Okay. Nilay?
No, not next year.
Yeah, I'm out too. I think it's coming.
Yeah,
I
I, think
continue to believe
2026 was
foldable phones and flip phones, which I all
yeah,
collapse into folding phones,
it will be a
are
thing.
going to happen.
They're getting
just
better.
not
I
next
see
year.
them. I see them a lot now.
Okay. The Pixel 10 is by far the best and most successful Android phone.
What is success? How is
Let's
success
just land
measured?
on best. It is by far the best Android phone.
How is best measured?
You are a product reviewer.
Yeah, right?
You are the lead product reviewer of the Wall Street Journal.
How is it
Why are
measured?
you having this like existential debate about what's a good phone? What do you think a good phone is?
Best, fine. I think we've all agreed that it's been the best Android phone for a long time.
Wait, are we agreed on that?
I mean,
Go on.
I will say I do not think Samsung has, other than some hardware improvements, I do not think they've had substantial improvements to their phones. And I think they lean very heavily on their relationship with Google to do
Mhm.
all the work. And yeah, like at this point, like no,
You don't think the Galaxy Fold is better than the Pixel Fold?
yeah, I guess on foldables, I would say they've done a better job on the hardware and they're fine. But I guess I'm talking about like flagship phones that continue to be the most popular.
Yeah.
That is always going to be Samsung. They're going to, sorry, and I say this by sales. Samsung will continue to sell more phones, whether they have the best one or they don't. And that's just been the story of Android for how many years?
All of them.
Is
pretty
that
much.
going to change in 2025?
But you think right now the Pixel is a better phone than whatever Galaxy?
I will always prefer the software experience of the Pixel. I just do.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I don't know the Galaxy take slightly better photos in my last testing like 2 years ago? I don't know. Like, did that
Mhm.
change? You guys tell me.
Not
I
really.
haven't done camera testing of the Pixel and the Samsung in probably 2 years.
At this point, they are all on top of each other. It's
Yeah.
like,
Right. So I come down to okay, there's a great software experience on the Pixel and people, they gained 1 point of market share, I believe, this
Mhm.
year,
well, they also,
according to IDC.
Google can't try very hard.
Well,
this
maybe
is a
they'll break them
real-
up.
This is a
But-
real problem for them, right? They can't piss off Samsung.
Right. So I guess that's where I was like, success and best. Like, sure, it's the best, but you first said success, which you changed.
Wait, read your thing again.
If we want to just, I originally said best and most successful. But if we want to split hairs, we can do one and the other.
I think those are very different things.
Well, yeah, they are different things. But I'm
So,
telling you,
I'm
both
splitting the
happened in
hairs.
2025.
Oh, then that's a hard no. If it's both, absolutely not.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All
but
right.
will it remain the best one? Yeah.
How do I write that in my notes about what you guys said? All right. Yeah, I think we're all no's on that one.
I mean, but like, what is the most exciting thing that's going to happen in smartphones in the next year? What are we all going to be excited about when Samsung comes out with the Galaxy
Ostensibly, it's
S25?
AI.
And is that something we're going to get excited about?
No.
Bluetooth 6.
Bluetooth is AI. I've come full circle.
All right, let's do a couple more. Joanna, you have to leave here in a minute. Let's do a couple more. Apple is actually making a television. It's official.
There's been rumored again recently.
Yeah. They've been making
It's real.
a television.
It's real this time. Apple is going to sell you a television.
2008?
Not in 2025, but I think that the rumors on this will heat up. Apple is out of markets. This is a real problem. They don't make enough stuff. It's weird that they don't make enough stuff.
The longer I wrote this one down originally like as kind of a joke, and the longer I think about it, the more I want to say yes.
But
Right.
this year?
Yeah, I think it's possible.
It's not like hard to do.
Yeah, TV is right.
Like at the end of the day, they got to buy an OLED panel from Samsung. They got to glue an Apple TV to the back of it, and they're gonna be like
And they got to
$6,000.
make some nice frames
Yeah,
to put around it.
It's weird because the thing you're saying about cable television dying and all this other stuff, like runs against Apple doing a TV.
Yes.
It's a real problem. I think they might have missed the window on doing this.
Unless Apple thinks there's a giant ads business in being
or an
Right.
extension of their services business.
sure.
But they were chasing other huge iPhone-sized markets, and the only ones they could identify were healthcare and cars. And they got run out of cars because
Yep.
it's too hard. I know what they're going to do in healthcare over time.
But if the home, which seems to be this big place they're going to focus some of the effort this year, and they do this home tablet sometime this spring, seems like something between an iPad and a Apple TV type of thing.
Yeah.
In terms of like software,
Yeah.
right?
They got to put another screen in your house, and they got to find a way to
Right.
charge you money.
So
to
let's say
run
they
that
put another screen in your house that's home based. Is it a TV this year, or is it this like
screen.
tablet?
No, they're going to do this little thing first.
Right. So I don't know I think this TV thing is, to your point, like they've got to go to other markets. This makes sense. They can finally say, hey, we've got it all integrated. It's just one cord into the wall. Like, great.
Yeah.
But then does that happen this year?
I'm saying
I don't
yes.
think it happens this year. No.
I'm in on it.
I think we're going to hear a lot about it this year.
Like
They're going to
rumors.
feel that out. It's just like Apple making a TV.
Like reports.
Yeah, we're going to hear a lot of
Mark
noise
Gurman
about
is going to
this.
be very busy talking about this year.
Does an Apple TV have HDMI ports?
No,
Well, then what are all the people with PS5s going to do?
they're not. They're
So
not.
you're going to make it a TV that just excludes.
No, it'll have HDMI ports.
Do you think
This
so?
is
Yeah.
complicated. It immediately makes it complicated.
See, I think that's what they've wanted to do, is the like one port, like it just plugs in.
But again, if you're doing the home stuff you're talking about, you could sell me a bunch of new screens, or you could take advantage of the big screen that sits in the middle of everyone's house and is like this. Jen Tui on our team keeps railing on this. Like the TV is the center of the smart home.
It
And
is.
It is ridiculous
I
that
love
no one
that.
has solved this yet.
I love when my garage door opens and I see a little alert on my TV that says garage door open.
And it's 2:00 in the morning, and you didn't do that on purpose. And here we are. All right, last one, and then Joanna, you're gonna go. What do I want to do last? Waymo's self-driving cars are now everywhere in New York City.
No. I just interviewed the CEO. No. But they will be like in a lot of other cities.
Okay, I picked New York specifically because
Yeah.
it is probably the
I think
highest
New York
bar.
is like New York they
clear.
are working on.
Mhm.
But it's not yet.
You
New
don't
York
think so?
also has the weather issue that they are.
Mhm.
The last time I talked to Kedra,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Can you get this thing in Aspen, Colorado?" And she's like, "No." She's like, "No, like we can't solve that problem yet. Like weather is too hard." And New York has enough weather where I think it's.
That's true.
Do you think
They're
it'll-
testing here apparently.
They are. There's aspects of New York that make it simpler.
Totally.
It's a big grid.
Yeah.
You can just like solve that problem. But there's 2 feet of snow on the ground. It's real dicey.
There's not bike lanes. I think New York's really challenging.
No, I'm saying there are aspects of New York that make it
Yes,
simpler
yes.
than LA or whatever, right? Like
See, I think like Brooklyn
Mhm.
makes a lot of sense.
Just like no laws in Brooklyn.
No laws in Brooklyn. But like you go down Manhattan, it's going to be tough for them. But whether there's a lot of reasons I think no, but I think we're going to. I think that 2025 is the year that I don't want to say most people. A lot of people will go in Waymos for their first time, and you will see tons of it on social media.
It's going to have its moment.
Yeah, it's going to have its moment.
Okay.
Because like I was in LA last week, and everyone who was in LA was trying it. It was like a total viral thing. So it's coming to Austin, Phoenix. They're already in San Francisco. They're working on getting on highways. It's already in LA. They expanded. People are going to talk about it when they go to these cities.
Okay. I like this one. I'm changing this to Waymo is going to have its moment.
Waymo has a real problem though, because their platform is the Jaguar I-Pace. And Jaguar has decided to just be an influencer company now or whatever it is. Like they need a new car.
They have Hyundai.
Hyundai's coming on.
Yep. Hyundai's coming this year.
All right.
I love Waymo.
There you go. I'm out on this one. I think
Zoox is doing some stuff this year too.
I think the momentum here is really good.
And Tesla has a fake robotaxi.
Oh, yes, right. The fake robotaxi.
It's real. You can look at it in a store and it doesn't move. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you in on this one, Nilay?
Yeah. I think Waymo's due. Yeah.
I'm out on this one only because I've been burned by being in on this one so many times over the last decade.
This is the year.
All right. We'll see. All right. We got to take one more break. Then we're going to come back. We're going to rapid fire through the rest of these and we're going to get out of here. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
On it.
Support for the Vergecast comes from Polestar. Electric performance is at the core of every decision that went into Polestar's first all-electric SUV, Polestar 3. For example, it has a computer-controlled torque vectoring system, which basically senses and redistributes power to the wheel with more grip. That means tighter turns. Polestar 3 even allows the driver to optimize the powertrain between performance or range mode, depending on your drive's needs. You're able to go from 0 to 60 in as little as 4.8 seconds and get an EPA estimated range of up to 350 miles per charge. And its design is intentional too. It features a sleek aerodynamic exterior, but a minimalist, carefully curated interior that emphasizes the spaciousness of the cabin. And you can relax on your drives too, with an intuitive infotainment screen and an uncluttered dashboard. Polestar 3 is the SUV that drives like a sports car. It has a lot to offer, but you can only fully understand it by trying it out for yourself at your local Polestar space. Book a test drive for Polestar 3 at polestar.com.
All right, we're back. Okay. I have a couple here that rhyme slightly with some of the stuff we were talking about last week. The first one I have here is the new Alexa is sick and everybody likes it.
I like sick.
It's sick. It's not just like
it actually
nifty, like
physically
it's
gets
sick. It is literally.
It's like
my Alexa has been throwing up on me.
It's so sentient. It's like.
Wait. I'm in if we are like it has an illness.
I cannot set a timer.
If it's sick, it's so cool. It's sick. I'm out.
It's so cool. It's sick.
It appears to have an illness. I'm in.
It appears to have an illness. It has such a strong personality that it develops sicknesses and colds and has stomach problems. It's like, oh, you ordered too much Whole Foods.
If you could set the character as just like your ill relative who lives with you, that would be incredible. And anytime you ask it for anything, it's like, ugh.
Anyway, I'm totally in on Alexa having an illness.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think we're both picking illness.
Yeah. I'm writing illness. I'm in on this one. I think Amazon is
that is actually a best case scenario for the launch. Is they put these in homes and it's so sentient and it believes it's alive that it's like, sorry, I can't order the Whole Foods today. Sorry, I can't tell you if the package was delivered. Do you like my sick Alexa voice?
That's pretty good.
I'm a little worried that if I react to it too much, it's racist. Like it's like a little too neurotic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I could do anxious Indian mom.
Yeah, do it.
Like, do you think that's going to work?
I think you need more of a stronger accent there, but I get you're not wanting to get racist. Okay.
Should I go to med school?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
All right. Next up, Blue Sky is every bit as big as Threads.
I think it already kind of is. I don't know. Is it?
You're having a real what is everything existential crisis over there. No, absolutely not. They're going to keep juicing the Threads numbers with Instagram forever. Is Blue Sky more relevant than Threads? Yes.
Relevant?
Yeah.
because of the people that are there.
Because of the people that are there. Is that where the conversation is?
Okay. I'll allow both of these. So Blue Sky is more relevant than Threads. You're saying yeah.
But Threads will be huge. And Threads is just going to be, it's already hundreds of millions of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's probably, given what we've heard from earnings and since, they're probably like knocking on the door of 300 million users.
Yeah. And they're going to keep juicing it with Instagram, and it's a creator platform, and that will be a thing. I think Blue Sky, who knows how big it will get. I'm very high on interop and Fediverse and all this stuff. But the ceiling that we know of is Twitter, which at its heyday was 325 million people. And so I think Threads can get bigger than that because they can just keep juicing it with Instagram.
That seems right to me. I think the Threads is going to be so big and so integrated into Instagram that it's actually going to be more powerful than it would have been on its own.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the cool kids will be on Blue Sky, and that matters. Like what are people on cable news going to read and put on the screen as they talk about it? I would bet on Blue Sky over Threads. If it's those two against each other, I would bet on Blue Sky.
Well, this goes back to your cable dying thing from last week, but I think those people continue to stay on X.
Interesting. Okay. So the answer is kind of neither one.
I think it depends, but like I hear what Nilay's saying on the relevant. Like if it continues at this pace and it can bring over people that are breaking news there and it is more of the conversation, but they've got to keep, I mean, this is where Threads has done a slightly better job is getting politicians and celebrities, and they've had those people, but they're not actively posting there.
Right.
So if they can build the relevancy on Blue Sky and get those people coming over and actually consistently posting, I'm in.
Okay. It is.
I don't think they're going to stay on X, though. X is going to have the same algorithmic brain rot as Threads.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a different kind of gas leak social network. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like Threads. Like I keep making this distinction. I probably need to like explain it better, but I think you have creator platforms now and you have social media platforms. And like most things have become creator platforms where they are walled gardens. They're focused on keeping your engaged time on those sites high. They're algorithmic for you recommendations. They're entirely built around incentivizing creators to run content businesses on the terms of the platforms. That's Threads.
Gotcha.
Like, that's the shape of Threads.
Yeah.
But you're talking old school social media. You go, you share your thing. You don't care if people leave. You've got links. It's a portal to the web.
Right. Well, I mean, that part is interesting, but the part where it's like, I'm going here to follow a bunch of people and see what they're talking about. And those people are not professional content creators.
And they're not totally like after the algorithm and juicing the algorithm.
Right. And so Blue Sky just is much more of that. And Twitter used to be that to whatever extent. And I think that is going to be where that class of people wants to gather, because the economics and the incentives of creator platform algorithms just
make it that way.
They just make it that way. And X is headed that way.
Yep.
In like a meaningful,
because it's
explicit
also
way.
like all they know how to do.
Yeah. So and that's what Elon wants. Like Elon's like, just don't do lazy links. Just like put your content on the X platform.
I was just going to say, I keep being really struck by how meaningful a thing it is that Blue Sky is the only one that's like, we love when you link to stuff. Yeah. It's like there's a whole group of people on the internet who are very important who just link to stuff. Yeah. And if all of those people go to Blue Sky, like that's a pretty meaningful thing.
But I don't know if that ceiling is bigger than 325 million people.
Yeah. Maybe not.
Like that was as big as Twitter ever got.
Comes back to my prediction from last week. We're all going to be just posting everywhere.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But hopefully there's a system where it's easy.
All right, 2 more and then we're out of here. Apple launched the search engine. Call it doesn't have to look exactly like Google, but it is recognizably a web search engine.
Yes.
Yeah?
Apple's going to start to hedge. And the AI will give them the cover to hedge.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think yes, but it's under the guise of AI. And it might link into, you might be able to search ChatGPT or Gemini or, I don't know, Claude, whatever businesses they actually partner with. I think we're going to see those partnerships happen this year. And so that's their answer to search.
You think I think
Apple also knows people are using these apps, these AI apps, as search.
Okay.
So they're getting ahead of that, and they'll be a little bit behind that in some ways.
Apple also has a giant library of content that they don't really expose to anyone in Apple News.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like if what you want is like a bunch of recipes, they're in Apple News.
I think this is a year for Apple News. Like more happens in Apple News, or more hooks into Apple News. To your point,
yeah, I mean, it's just
I think Apple News is another place with that home display where they can really take advantage of it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
and if your thing is like the web is getting poisoned and search is bad and that thing, you're like, well, I'll just point to people to high quality
to
content.
the source.
I mean, if you go look at what's trending in Apple News, you will.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware.
It's like a lot of like old people yelling at stuff.
Yeah,
you know? Like the
Is
number
Huffington
one
Post
story in
still
Apple
number
News is
one?
always a BuzzFeed article that's like, why are these kids stupid?
It's or like a Huffington Post thing that's like ripped off 3 times from something else.
You can really get a sense of who a platform's users are
Yeah.
by the most popular posts on the platform.
Yeah. I'm out on this one just because I think the $20 billion from Google really spends. And I think if you're Apple trying to balance those two things, you're just going to land on the side of we're going to keep taking the money as long as the money is here. And
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean they like change what happens through Safari search. I just think they're going to, maybe they don't call it search.
But it was part of the stuff that came up during the search trial was essentially Apple agreeing not to launch a search engine while they had these deals. So I think that stuff is just, I think, going to take a while to unwind. I think if you gave me like 3 years instead of 1 year, I would say yes. But I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen this fast. But you also may be right that like they're one button away from the ChatGPT integration just being live web search. Like it just could happen.
It's really slow and bothersome. Anyway.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, last one. The Nintendo Switch came out, and I hate to break this to you, but it's kind of a bust.
Ooh, that's tough. It all depends on the packing game. No, I'm out. There's no way. They won't blow it. That's too out of character for Nintendo.
I don't know. The Wii U exists. They did do the Wii U.
No, still out.
No? All right. I want to believe. I'm saying no just because I am at this moment avoiding buying a PS5 because I want the new Switch very badly. And if it sucks, I'm going to have wasted 6 months of not buying a game console. So
When
I need
is
the new
Switch
Switch
supposed to come out?
Sometime before the end of March was what Nintendo promised. So like we're in the sort of any minute now phase.
That changes some things for me. They couldn't get it out before holiday. Anyway, I have no.
Maybe that's because it
This
sucks.
is the first time I'm hearing of this, so I do not.
I don't know what video games are.
What are video games? I'm going to learn soon because I have a kid that's finally into video games.
You gonna buy him a Switch?
Well, I was going to,
But maybe it sucks.
but now I'm waiting because I don't know.
I will say I
should wait now.
the current Switch and it is slow, and I would very much like the new one to be faster.
I'm sure they will do that.
You would
Okay.
hope.
So I'm waiting then.
Yeah,
It's successful because I have bought one.
You've already bought one.
Perfect.
No, there's no way that it's a bust.
Okay, great. I hope we're right. I
Yeah.
believe in all of us. All right. This is too many things to go back over. I'm going to put all the results in the show notes, but thank you both. This was delightful. We agreed more than I wanted to, but it's okay. We did all right.
You seem like you've had a great year.
I've won.
2025 was good to you, David.
2025, listen, it's been complicated.
Yeah.
I've
you
forgotten
seem
some
to
of the
have-
details, but I'm killing it.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
I'm
You
on
still
top of
fit
the
in your
world.
clothes from
Yeah.
2024.
I have been wearing this sweater for 365 days and no one has noticed until you just now.
It's just, you own that many versions of that sweater. It's a good year for you.
All right. Thank you both. All right. That is it for the Vergecast today. And that's it for our 2-part mini-series about 2025. Thank you to Nilay and Joanna for doing this deeply silly thing with me. And thank you, as always, for listening. I hope this was fun. I really enjoyed doing these two. We just got to have some wild speculation time, and that is rare in this business. We had a good time. There is lots more on all of this at theverge.com, and there's going to be lots more on all of this for the next year. I think inside of these 2 episodes, you can sort of see what we're thinking about for the next year. A lot's going to change. A lot's going to happen. We're probably not going to Mars in 2025, but a lot of things are going to happen, and we're going to be covering it all. So keep it locked on theverge.com. It's a good website. I'm slightly biased, but I kind of like it. And as always, if you have thoughts, questions, feelings, or other things that you definitely, for sure, 100% think are going to happen in 2025, you can always email us at vergecast@theverge.com or call the hotline, 866-VERGE11. We truly, truly love hearing from you. We're going to do a couple more hotlines at the end of this year, and then we have a big plan for all of the stuff we're going to get to do next year. So keep calling, keep emailing, keep it locked on the Vergecast. This show is produced by Liam James, Will Poor, and Eric Gomez. The Vergecast is a Verge production and part of the Vox Media Podcast Network. We'll be back on Tuesday and Friday with your regularly scheduled programming. We are nearing the end of the year, and we're going to take a break at the end of the year, but we got a couple more fun things for you before we do. We'll see you then. Rock and roll.
Support for the Vergecast comes from Polestar. Polestar's first all-electric SUV, Polestar 3, is now on the roads across the US, and it's ready to make an impression. It's got a sleek aerodynamic exterior and a spacious, minimalist interior. Its custom-developed Android Automotive OS is totally integrated, made to enhance your driving experience. That includes an intuitive infotainment screen, smart voice controls, and over-the-air updates. And you can have Google turn on your favorite podcast whenever you want to be immersed in 3D surround sound by Bowers & Wilkins. See what else Polestar 3 has to offer when you test drive at your local Polestar space. Book yours today at polestar.com.